jungle, the rainforest. We call it the lungs of the earth. We all know that deforestation is happening. Science has told us for decades that this is directly contributing to global warming. Some of that deforestation is an inevitable effect of population growth, of people earning a living, and of expansion of our own human habitat. But some of that deforestation is unsustainable, and it is preventable.
Project Jungle is our pledge to make a difference in the fight against climate change. In 2026, we are going to buy and protect a strategically important tract of tropical rainforest in Central America. We will replant deforested sections and we will steward it for future generations.
Our purchase will not change the world overnight, we know that, but it will make a difference. This is a real, tangible contribution to protecting the world's wild spaces, to protecting biodiversity, animal habitat, of physically and unequivocally reducing CO2 emissions.
It's kind of a dream being realized, a dream of maybe 20 years ago, the first time I went through that area. And I saw right then and there the threat. On one side you have the Chagres National Park. That is about 100,000+ hectares of rainforest that is protected. It's a national park, and it's the heart of the Panama Canal operation because that's the watershed. So all the water that ships require to transit the canal comes from that watershed. It's all fresh water. And on the other side, you have the massif of Cerro Bruja, which means Witch Mountain. Witch Mountain is also a large tract of jungle, and it's the highest peak in that area. It's about 980+ meters, and you have cloud forests up there. So the two used to be fully connected, but because of the land grabs of people, people that need to, they need to make a living, so they go and they say, oh, this area looks nice. They just take it, they clear it, and then throw in the livestock. So that happening from both sides of the river systems has encroached the size of the jungle of that connection. So to the point that we only have like a very narrow, like 8-kilometer wide rainforest corridor. And that's what the wildlife, and we're talking big animals like the tapir, the jaguars, the pumas, all those, they require to get from one of those large areas to the other. One of our parks near here hasn't seen a jaguar since 2012, right? So we know that's what's in store for all these other areas if the rate of destruction and deforestation continues.
It's important to protect any part of the natural environment that we can, but these particular tracts that we're looking at are strategically positioned, and if we protect these, then it kind of blocks further deforestation into a significant national park area, and that national park area abuts even more vast tracts of rainforest which stretch all the way from the Panama Canal all the way through the Darien Gap into South America. So whilst I'm not saying we're protecting millions and millions of acres, our ability to protect a small portion will then prevent further deforestation in these other areas. It's a blocker, if you like. I think for me, the rat race and the expeditions and the trips that we create are always about a sense of journey, and I found this fascinating journey that was a historical journey, in 1671 by Henry Morgan across the isthmus. So, from a kind of rat race, creating a journey for the sake of doing an awesome journey, this kind of spoke to me as a concept. But I think, linking this to Project Jungle, it's in Panama, it's in modern day Panama right now. It's very close actually to the tract of jungle that we're looking at. And I think B, and most importantly, to provide those that perhaps can advocate for us and with us on Project Jungle, to allow them to come and see the rainforest themselves, come and see this environment, have an adventure in it, you know, the very environment that we're trying to protect. That to me is the connection. You know, so putting a journey together in Panama that's a really, really cool journey in its own right, but then fosters this tangible connection, you know, to some land kind of just round the corner, so to speak. That to me was the reason, you know, for putting the Pirate Trail together. Henry Morgan, or Sir Henry Morgan, as he was latterly known, was a famous English buccaneer. He gave his name to the rum that we currently enjoy in bars and pubs around the world. But you know, in the age of pirates, etc., the Spanish were bringing a lot of looted treasure from Peru into, you know, what was then the Spanish Main, Panama. And in 1671, Henry Morgan made a really audacious raid on Panama City, which involved him sailing into the Caribbean and trekking the entire way across the isthmus. You know, a kind of rabble of buccaneers and pirates kind of assembled off the coast of Panama, you know, came upriver and made this phenomenal, you know, journey, sort of feat of endurance. And for us to go and recreate that would give us our own sense of that historical context and that kind of own sense of endurance.
If the Chagres River was the gateway to Panama City, San Lorenzo was the key. So it was the one that guarded that entrance. So if you didn't have that, if you couldn't subjugate or, you know, conquer San Lorenzo, you were doomed. And that's exactly what Morgan's men did. You know, they knew that.
Ustedes, yo voy marcándole el ritmo a ustedes.
In terms of modern day Panama and looking at, you know, the narrowest point of Central America, which, you know, the sort of the corridor as it is now of the Panama Canal is, you know, just gives rise to so many touch points, you know, for us. You know, you have the Panama Canal, you know, which is world famous in its own right. You know, you have these ancient Spanish overland treasure routes, you know, which are still there in the jungle, the Camino de Cruces, Camino Real. You have the fantastic city of Panama City. You have this idea of going from coast to coast, you know, sort of Caribbean to Pacific. And of course, you know, you have the spellbinding nature of the jungle that you're traveling through, which is all that, I mean, even as you're trekking into the outskirts of Panama City, you are still in primary jungle. It's incredible.
I used to work on commercial ships. My favourite part of the job was going through the Panama Canal because it was just this pristine, beautiful, wonderful place, sailing through this rainforest. Now to come through it on a kayak and literally be coming down the side of the canal, major ships on the other side, rainforest here, you just realise how much of a towering behemoth a massive 350 metre container ship really is.
Dariencito means little Darien, and it was a location there. During the construction of the Panama Canal, they flooded the river, and that became Gatun Lake. So they had a radio station there with these huge towers, but that radio station is pre-World War II. We're talking back in the early 20th century. The jungle, it takes about 15 to 20 years only for you to look at a clearing first and then come back 20 years later, and then it's a jungle again. This is an ancient grinding stone, pre-Columbian times, maybe 1,000 years old, who knows?
Yeah, and just slipping our way down some of the hills and trying to find my way up the others. Yeah, slowly making our way.
I think every time somebody goes into the jungle, and particularly, if you go into it for the first time, then, you can't fail to be a little bit intimidated, actually. Terrain's it's always steep. It's always impossibly steep. It's always slippery. There's always spiky stuff everywhere that, you can't hold on to. There's animals, some of which are very dangerous and some of which are just amazing to look at, amazing colours. All of that kind of puts you a little bit on the back foot. And, you realise that, there's far more to life than just us as a species. That's very much the case on a kind of deep connected level. But I think on a really kind of human level, the effort required to just exist in a jungle, it's steamy, it's hot, it's humid. Rick has a saying, it's humidity you can see. And so anybody who walks into a rainforest, spends a little bit of time in it, camps out in it, for example, comes out of it, it's very rare that they'll come out of it with exactly the same perspective as they walked in, and particularly if they spend a significant portion of time on an expedition.
In my opinion, trekking is a metaphor for our own journey in this life. You know, we're moving through life. If you strip all that down, all the toils and happiness and things that happen in your life, and you sort of distill that into what do I need? And really all you need is you know, some food, some water, some kind of shelter, and off you go on your journey. That right there is like the essence of our traverse through life.
It's tough. It's a tough environment. It definitely challenges you. All around you is this just deep greenness. Just being able to be in the jungle and feeling like you're so far away from anything, and yet you've got the Panama Canal one side, you've got the railway the other. You weren't that far away from the realities of life, but it felt like you were in the middle of nowhere, which was just amazing. And it's lovely to be free from your phone and all the other challenges of life. So you completely immerse yourself in the jungle.
We are in this village and there is a beautiful family who are going to look after us and cook for us tonight, which is really special. There's some gorgeous children who are just playing around our hammocks and checking out what we've got and what we're doing. So I've been playing peekaboo with two of them and they are coming back up the hill right now, but they're super cute. So yeah, I'm really happy to be in this place. It's absolutely stunning.
Amazing fish and plantain. Really, really delicious. Wrapped in a beautiful leaf. Absolutely perfect, just what we needed. And it's about 1,000,000 times better than a boil in the bag meal. So yeah, very happy.
It's awesome.
Really, really good.
So this is the village of Venta de Cruces. So this was the end of the river journey if you were going into Panama City, and the beginning of a land journey all the way to Panama City. This is what they call 2 leagues, depending on the season, of course. Easier in the dry season, pretty treacherous and longer going in the rainy season, as we're going to do. You're going to find out. All right. You actually see and you walk on the cobblestone of the Camino de Cruces. It is directly related to where the patch of land is, because that one's on the Camino Real, where there is also a cobblestone that passes through the land. So the historic link is right there, but also, you know, that aspect of being in the jungle, absolutely, and people can definitely take that in.
Not fresh.
Right.
think the biggest thing for me, I've often talked about connection and the interconnected elements of climate systems, biodiversity. Now I have been catapulted into that environment. You know, now I've been in the jungle, I get it, and I want to take that tiny worm, that tiny frog, the little bit of fungi, and I want to make sure that keeps going, because it's such an incredible, intelligent ecosystem. We need to protect it.
Like all good plan A's, we're on to plan B today. We did come to have a look at the land jungle plot, but we can't get there because, as you can see, it's very wet. It's been raining for hours and hours, like all night, and the rivers are really swollen. So we were going to take horses here into the land. We're going to go about halfway. We're still going to get on the horses. We're going to go about halfway. We're going to have a wet trek. And we're going to kind of, see the nature of the terrain here. We're going to look at the farmland that's here. We're going to look at some of the land that has been subject to degradation, some of the rainforest that is kind of fringing it. But we can't get into the plot just because the rivers, there's 20 river crossings on this route. The rivers are just so swollen, there's no way of getting in, and we certainly won't be getting out. So yeah, plan B.
Yeah, when you look at those hills and you see the parts that have been deforested, it's such a stark difference. And as soon as you start to look to where it's dense jungle, you see the clouds sitting over the top and the mist, and you can just see that's how it should be. It's a real stark difference. It's literally like somebody's carved that line out. So to be able to take some of that back from being farmland to return it to being pristine jungle is just an amazing opportunity. And it's so important. It's doing our little bit for it. And having seen it firsthand, it's much more easy to explain to people why it's so important and how beautiful that landscape is. It's just utterly stunning, and it'd be great to see it return to the way it should be.
When you see how easy it is for the human species to destroy its own surroundings, then you feel like, man, if there's something I can do that's in my hands to do, I will want to do it. Because and that connection happens when you're there. It probably wouldn't happen if you're just watching a documentary on TV and you go like, oh yeah, well that's so sad. But once you see it and you experience it, then you're more likely to do something about it.
I've been involved in this project for a couple of years now. There is so much behind it that really, really excites me. From acquiring the land, and then how do we start to measure the biodiversity with nature metrics. We start to map sounds and what nature is within there, and then native planting and all the species, make sure we get that right. What we can do here is something special, and it has the opportunity to grow. It's not like an end game. It's not just, oh, we're just going to do this little thing and then that'll be it. We can grow this.
I think I'm very conscious, very mindful that we don't just want to be, some company that just shows up, says, oh, look at us, look what we're doing, isn't that great? So, for example, things that are very important are working with local people to do this. Rick is Panama's foremost jungle guide. He's incredibly aware of the challenges in the rainforest, and he's incredibly aware as a conservationist himself and as an ecologist, how successful this could be if it's done well.
I think it's absolutely commendable that, out of all the destinations that Rat Race, where they travel and they do these events, they have chosen this country and that specific piece of land to give back, because there is definitely a knowledge and appreciation of, the world has given us so much. What are we giving back? What can we do? And the fact that they've chosen this specific place to do it, it just fills my heart. Absolutely.